The Supreme Court of Canada just handed down a landmark ruling. It sided with the Manitoba Métis in a land dispute case that dates back to 1870, the days of Louis Riel. James Fitzmaurice is tracking this story. He joins me live with more details. So what did the court say about this case, which dates back more than 140 years, James?
That's right, absolutely, Suhana. The court says that this case, if I can read from the judgment here, haven't memorized it yet as it's just out, that the issue here, the goal of reconciliation and constitutional harmony, remains unachieved, that this ongoing rift in the national fabric because of this unsettled land claim remains unremedied. The unfinished business of reconciliation of the Métis people with Canadian sovereignty is a matter of national and constitutional import. That is one of the key paragraphs in today's decision because it speaks to a number of issues, one being the argument that the federal government had used, that this, as you mentioned off the top, this goes back to an agreement that was reached in 1870. So lawyers were arguing that statutes of limitations and other such concepts had expired, that this is in the long past and does not need remedies now. The Supreme Court rejecting that argument, saying that it remains unfinished. This is an ongoing rift, as it says, in Canada's fabric. So it culminates with this one very brief declaration from the Supreme Court in all of these pages here, where it simply says that the federal crown failed to implement the land grant provisions set out in Section 31 of the Manitoba Act 1870 in accordance with the honor of the crown. That is not everything the Métis were looking for, but it is the key part, and they did win that today. This case, although the agreement goes back to 1870, has been winding its way through the courts since 1981.
So what happens next then?
The court does not prescribe any remedy, nor was any sought. The Métis Federation, was simply seeking that declaration. So now what it will do is take that declaration to the federal government and use that in negotiations to figure out what comes next. We're talking about a lot of land here. There was some 5,600 square kilometers of land promised in what is now Manitoba, including the entirety of the city of Winnipeg. The Métis recognize they're not going to claim this land. They're not going to raise the city or anything like that. Instead, negotiations will now begin as to how to compensate them for what was supposed to have been given them more than 100 years ago, but was not. And today, the Supreme Court ruling that it ought to have been.